Now for this week's rider tip, we're going to tackle one of the trickiest and most technical parts of the sport, ruts. Now ruts are almost identical to berms in corners, except instead of having a lot of room to work with, we've got only the width of a wheel. Now this is where the difficulty comes into place. We're going to have a look at a few different techniques. It's going to make your job a bit easier. We've got our three main areas that we need to work on with ruts. Entry into the corner, body position, and we've got our exit. Entry is your key to getting ruts right. You need to make sure you prepare nice and early. As soon as we go over that last bump, we should be off the brakes, sitting down with our leg out, and it'll seem like you've got an absolute eternity to prepare for the corner. If you don't have your leg out and you start to topple over, you're going to hit the deck and have a crash. However, if your leg's out, you've got a good chance of dabbing your foot on the ground, tipping your bike up, and quite often you'll be able to prevent a crash. Body position is obviously not just about your leg. The other thing you need to remember is the angle of your body. Now, once again, just like berms, it depends on the angle of the ground. We want to try to get our body 90 degrees to the base of the rut. If the rut's got a really nice angle on it, you can lean right over. If not, no need to lean over too far. The best way to learn is to take it nice and easy to start with. Unfortunately, with ruts, you need a certain amount of entry speed to be able to get ruts right. If you come in too slow and you've already got an established deep rut going through the corner, your wheels will get caught up in the edge of the rut. You need to have at least half decent entry speed coming into that rut. One of the biggest problems that riders tend to come across with ruts is they know how difficult it is and they tend to stiffen up a little bit. They tend to lock up. And if you're in the middle of a rut and you get really stiff in your upper body and you panic, it makes it almost impossible to stay on track for a perfect rut. Try to stay nice and loose and just come to terms with the fact you're going to make a few mistakes. You're probably going to have a couple of little crashes, but that's part of learning how to do ruts. The one thing you can be rest assured of is if your front wheel is nicely in the rut, your back wheel is going to follow exactly where your front wheel goes. There's two ways that your back wheel can step out of the rut. One is if you accidentally lock up that rear brake and jump on it with your right boot. The other is if you accidentally punch the throttle too much, it can step out over the top of the rut. So we just need to make sure that if we're nice and smooth on our rear brake and our throttle application, you'll exit that rut no problem whatsoever. Now, the exit of ruts, there's no avoiding the big bumps. Unlike a berm where you can start to cut back down and miss the bumps or go around the outside of the bumps, if you're going through a very thin single trail rut, you've got no choice but to go through the big acceleration bumps on the exit of the corner. Unfortunately, the only way we can tackle these bumps is by gripping really, really tight with our lower half of our body. And what that does is it helps the back end track nice and straight as you exit the corner. There's two main factors that'll make your life a lot easier when it comes to ruts. First of all, get your confidence up, believe in yourself and stay relaxed. Second of all is making sure that you don't panic. Practice time and time again, and once you're in a rhythm, it's almost impossible to stuff up the rut. Now most of all, try to remember, ruts are supposed to be fun. If you're not relaxed, you're not going to be having fun. Always remember to keep practicing, guys, and we'll see you next time.